I love you.
I know.
What's up, guys? Here are 10 Star Wars facts that I know you have never heard before. So where better to start off number one than with the original Star Wars movie, Star Wars A New Hope. Originally, the title had 18 words in it, and it was The Adventures of Luke Starkiller, as taken from the Journal of Wills, Saga 1, The Star Wars. Then, right before release, George Lucas shortened it down to just be Star Wars. Going into number two, I want to talk about cameos. Star Wars has had a lot of cameos by a lot of famous actors over the years who are just Star Wars fans themselves. But there are two really important cameos I want to point out that a lot of people might not know about. The first is George Lucas himself. The only time George Lucas ever put himself in a Star Wars movie is he made a very, very small cameo in Episode 3 when Anakin's running up some stairs to go inside a building. George Lucas is dressed as one of the aliens off to the side. Also, the most fun of all, E.T., the extraterrestrial, is Star Wars canon. In Episode 3, during one of the big Senate scenes, you can see a group of E.T.s gathered together on one of the little podiums, which thus makes E.T. part of Star Wars canon. So for number three, we're going to be talking about my favorite part of all of the Star Wars universe, and that is lightsabers. So originally, lightsabers were all going to be white with a white blade of light, but during editing, they decided it'd be best to make good guys have blue lightsabers and bad guys have red lightsabers to distinguish between the two. Then, by the time the third film came around, Return of the Jedi, they decided to make the green lightsaber for Luke as some big, look at the Jedi's back, look at this. Then through canon later on, they would add other colors to have other meanings, most notably my favorite, Rey Skywalker's lightsaber having a yellow blade usually signifies being a guardian or being balanced in between the good guys and bad guys. So number four is going to be a callback to the scene I played at the beginning of the video. In the movie The Empire Strikes Back, right before Han Solo's lowered down into the kryptonite, Princess Leia says, "I love you" to him, which originally in the script, Han Solo is supposed to reply with, "I love you too." But instead, Han Solo improvises one of the most famous lines in all of Star Wars history and simply says, "I know." Alright, so for number five, we're going to be talking about sound effects in the Star Wars universe. Everyone knows the famous sound of Chewbacca. Wait a minute, no. The sound of Chewbacca. What are we doing?
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
But in all seriousness, the original sound that was made to use Chewbacca's voice was made by a mixture of using bear noises with walrus sounds, with badger noises, just a mix of these different animals all put into one. A lot of people think it is someone making a voice with their mouth, but it's not. It's a mix of a bunch of different animals put into one. Also, another fun fact that a lot of people might not realize, but the sound of the TIE fighters flying by, it's really just a mix of an elephant bellowing its long trunk and a car driving on wet pavement. They put those two sounds together, and then you get the sound of a TIE fighter flying by. It's just very interesting to me, the ideas and the thought processes they went to make all these different sci-fi sound effects in space. Because you got to think about it. No one's ever heard these noises before. No one's ever heard a TIE fighter flying by before. So someone had to think of an idea of ways to make it sound unique but right for the film. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for the top 10 Star Wars things you may have never known before. Be on the lookout for part 2 where we're going to discuss numbers 6 through 10.